Hello everyone, this is Ranmi. Today we are here in my room in Amphorius and we will talk about what sustain you should choose on your account as an F2P. Several viewers from my previous video have pointed out a question or two about sustains on an F2P account. Not everyone who watched the video might go to the comments, so that's why I'm making this video. We're going to talk about which DPS should be used with what sustain. Next will be if you have overlapping DPS which may want a different sustain that fits them the best, and how to choose so you don't end up pulling more than 2 unnecessarily. Okay, let's start with preservation. I'm only going to cover limited sustains because this video is which one you should pull, and for the DPS I will cover standard and limited. I will not be talking about 4 stars because as you can see there's so many. If I go to talk about all of them, some of them are their harmony, but if I want to talk about all of them, this video is going to be way too long. So we'll just talk about the limited sustains. So for preservation, we have Fu Xuan and we have Aventurine, both really good sustains. And then we have a Do Not Use, which I'll talk about later, and these are all the DPS. Oh, Lingsha is not a DPS. At least we're not going to talk about DPS Lingsha here. Okay, so anyways, first thing, Fu Xuan. You probably want to run her with Mono Quantum if that's what you want to run. Although I'm not sure how well Mono Quantum fares right now. I can't relate because my Silly is still using a purple orb. I can clear, but not really my ideal team to run with. And basically any DPS can probably run with Fu Xuan, even DOT, even Super Break, because at the end of the day, your sustain is just meant to keep you alive. As for extra bonuses, right, they are just extra things like, let's say Fu Xuan gives crit rate and Aventurine has like the crit damage debuff. These are bonus and they are very very small compared to something like your Harmony, like your Ranmi or your Robin. Okay, let's just making this clear. So for Aventurine, because he provides a shield compared to Fu Xuan, in my opinion, he is much better than Fu Xuan. Feel free to disagree or agree. I also like Fu Xuan, but I'm not here to sugarcoat things, so I'm going to tell you the truth of what I feel. So Aventurine, the best DPS to run with Aventurine usually will be your Acheron, because he can apply a debuff either through his Light Cone or through his Out or through Trend of Universal Market, so it's really good for Acheron. It'll be good with Yansing because he wants a shielder. If not, he'll lose his buff. And obviously all the follow-up characters would probably want him, because he himself, he's a follow-up character. So we can put all this here. Okay, while editing this, I forgot to explain why you should run follow-up characters with Aventurine. So basically, to charge Robins out quicker, you want to have higher frequency of attacks. Every time your characters attack, Robin gets energy. So follow-up characters naturally will upkeep Robins out faster than any other team comp. So that's why you want to run your follow-up sustain Aventurine with your follow-up characters. Yep. And then for DOT, you technically can run Aventurine even though he provides like no buffs to them. But at the end of the day, his job is just to sustain. Though you can also run DOT with Fu Xuan. So I'll just put them here. So this is not too overcrowded. But ideally you can run them both if you want. Or maybe I just put one here and one there so you get the idea. And for your crit DPS like Dio and all this, you can use either, honestly. If you run your Fu Xuan, you get a crit rate buff. If you run your Aventurine, they provide you the safety of the shields that he provides. So honestly, maybe I should change this category to any. Okay, any. And then probably get another character. There is no. Yep. And then for your super break characters, you probably don't want Aventurine. Not that you can't. Okay, you don't want Aventurine and you don't want Fu Xuan. Not that you can't, but you probably want a sustain like Gallagher or Lingsha, which I'll talk about later, compared to them, because these two can provide some kind of value to your super break team. Yeah, and the rest of this is whichever you want. I'll talk a bit more about some of them later, cause some of them they prefer abundance, like Argenti, like DOT. I think even Dew. Yeah, Welt is just a, you can use him as a lot of things. You can even run him as a sustain. I've seen some people do it. Okay, so now this do not use section. Okay, why they are called do not use? Basically, they have some kind of anti-synergy with shielders in general and preservation actually. So Clara, she wants to get hit. Yun Li, she wants to get hit. Blade, he wants to get hit. And for Jing she drains the whole team's HP. So ideally you want an abundance character that can heal. Fu Xuan can heal, so you could say you can run her with Fu Xuan, but I think for more comfort, I would rather have an abundance healer. So let's say you don't have a good abundance sustain yet and you have these DPS and you want to run them. So I can give you an option. So you can run a team like, let's say okay, Aventurine is here in the middle. Okay, let's just put him here. And then Yun Li is also here in the middle. Okay, then maybe you put your Harmony, let's say Robin, at here. Okay, this is the first slot, okay? Second slot, third slot. And then your fourth slot you put, let me see, what would you normally run? Ting Yun, right? Yep. You can run like this, put them side by side so that they don't steal too much of the aggro from your counter DPS, which will be either you or Clara, or Blade is not a counter but he wants to get hit. So that's what I mean. Okay, so let me move Aventurine back there, move you down. And yeah, that's it for preservation. Now let's move on to abundance. Okay, so we have 3 limited abundance for now. Luocha, Huo and Ling Sha. So let's start sorting them. So for CD, you can go with Huo for the energy, ratio, and all your follow-up, they can probably go to Aventurine instead. But if you don't have Aventurine, you can probably put them with Ling Sha. Where's Aventurine here? It's not supposed to be here. You can probably put them with Ling Sha because Ling Sha is also follow-up. And like I said earlier in the earlier section, preservation, follow-up characters do charge Robins out faster. So this is an alternative. And just move them. All the follow-up, yeah. Okay, minus these two. These two want Huo for the energy. Because Yun Li's damage is mostly from her out, and so is Clara. Clara needs to charge her out so that anyone attacks anyone in your team, she can counter back with a blast counter. And Yan Xing really wants a shielder, else his buff, I believe the Soul Steel Sync, if I'm not wrong, it will disappear. And then Acheron probably doesn't want any of these because they don't apply debuffs, except Ling Sha. Ling Sha can run with Acheron because I believe Ling Sha can apply debuffs through a Lightcone, I believe. Not sure if a base kit does it. Does her outdo it, I think. Yeah, if her out does it, I'll put it on screen. And then Blade wants to run with Luocha because he is the only sustain currently that can heal Blade from like 1 HP to 2 HP. And Jing Liu want Huo for the energy, and Dot obviously want Huo. As for Welt, I don't really play him, so you can put him here for the energy. Same with Liu, especially E2 Liu, you want that out. And Argenti, same with Yun Li. As an ultimate base character, you want to run with Huo if possible. And these 3 pretty self-explanatory. You want to run with your super break healer. And alternatively, Gallagher instead of Ling Sha. And that should be all for the abundance side. Okay, I'd like to address this comment here from this guy. He asked a question. So he asked, 2 limited sustain is all you need? I don't know, follow-up teams could use an Aventurine. He has a break team, he has a mono quantum team, Jing Liu team, and a counter team. So, first thing I want to say is, if you have this many team comps as an F2P, okay, no hate to you. Perhaps you just put them because you like all of them. But you're clearly doing something wrong. Because if you put for this many DPS, and you also want the sustains, I don't even think you even have the supports for them to complete the team. And if you do, you're either very lucky or you're just not F2P. So let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's say he's F2P, he got really lucky, and he got all these DPS, and he wants to put all the sustains to fit their teams well. So in this case, I will put Aventurine first, because he can run with Face Yao, can run with Mono Quantum. Honestly, just don't run Mono Quantum, just run Sealy with the best supports that she can have. And then I'll put for Huo Huo, because Huo Huo can run with Jingliu, can run with Yunli. And then I will skip out on a third sustain. So you might be asking, what about Firefly? Or whoever his big DPS is, maybe it's Boothill, maybe it's Rappa, I'm not going to assume. You can just use him, Gallagher, he works fine. You don't have to put a third sustain. So another comment here, I believe it's here, he brought up some really good points. You only need 2, but if you really like a team, trying to get the defensive support that best synergizes with the team is never a mistake. Well, I wouldn't say it's never a mistake, because at the end of the day, you are spending 180 pools, like you say, on the defensive support. Which, when you think about it, these 180 pools, or maybe 90 or 80 pools that you have, you could have spent it to upgrade your DPS or even their supports, which is going to provide way more value than your healers in the long term. So what he says here is they are more useful than damage dealers in the long term. I disagree, because how much these sustains provide, they are nothing compared to what these harmonies in the team can provide, or even their eidolons can provide, or even the DPS eidolons can provide, compared to pulling a whole another sustain just to perfectly fit the team. So let me ask you this, okay? Let's use Firefly for example. Firefly, run me. Let's say you run Harmony MC. Okay, assume this is Harmony MC. Okay, then let's say you want to pull Lingsha. This is your best in slot team. Or so you thought, okay? So you thought. You could replace this with your field. Where's field? Replace your field instead. And then just use Gallagher instead of Lingsha. And then maybe even get field E1. Or Firefly E1. Or run May E1. Or even Firefly E2. It's going to be a much bigger upgrade than you were to kick Gallagher out for Lingsha. Same thing with Face Yao. Instead of getting Aventurine, let's say you run Face Yao, Robin, Unmatch, and instead of getting Aventurine, you can also just run Gallagher, give him quick Proco, and he can help Robin charge faster. This is another example. So you don't have to pull a whole sustain just to fit the team, to make them feel that it's complete. Now I want to say one thing though. Let's say if you really like the character, like what this guy say here, if you really like a team, okay, he's correct by the way, brought up very good points. Say you love Firefly, okay, your girlfriend, your wife, okay, then okay, you go ahead, you pull your Lingsha. Then if you somehow have more than 3 sustains, then it is up to you. You have to give up whatever future pulls for whatever character you want, because you choose to waste your Jades on a third sustain that is not going to give much value to your account in general, compared to either a new character, like let's say, okay, there's no Hurter here, we assume this is Hurter, okay. Instead of pulling for something like maybe D-Hurter, let's say you're struggling with PF maybe, for example, instead of pulling for another D-Hurter that could help you, you pull for a Lingsha instead. That will only help your big team. So when you think about it, does it really make sense? Food for thought. So now that we have sorted that question, let me arrange everything back. Okay, Okay, so going forward, I would say these 3 are the only sustains you should ever pull for. If you need to get 1 more sustain or even 2 more sustains to fit your 2 guaranteed sustains. Okay, I know I talked about Lingsha to not pull for super break, but listen first. And these 2, you should probably not even consider them anymore because the value that they can give to your account is not as much as these 3. So now, when should you pull for Lingsha in a meta perspective? Okay, obviously Firefly, if you still only have 1 limited sustain. Another team would be Dihurter because she wants AoE characters, and Lingsha is the only AoE healer in the game currently. So that's the consideration to take when you want to pull for Lingsha. Not saying she has the lowest value. It's honestly probably biasness, okay? Biasness. I know I just said not to pull Lingsha, even though I like Lingsha a lot. Biasness, out of these 3, I would say Lingsha is the best. Because she can fulfill so many roles. She can heal, she can support your break team, she can cleanse, she can apply debuffs through a Lightcone, and she can also be a DPS. Now why I say that if you have Gallagher build, don't pull Lingsha, because let's be honest, both of them, while Lingsha definitely is way better than Gallagher, they are very close in power. So like I said earlier, the difference in power between these 2, it might not be worth pulling for Lingsha if you already have 2 limited sustains and you are surviving fine. So you get what I mean? And that should be all for the questions. Let's say you don't have like 10 DPS on your account. Okay, let's say you only have these 2. Then you can pull for Ho-Ho and pull for Aventurine. So Aventurine will be with Fei Xiao, and then Ho-Ho will be with Yunli. So it's a very simple choice. And if you want DOT, you can pull Ho-Ho, which I already explained earlier. I'm not going to go through again. So these are very straightforward. Let's say you have 3 team comps, okay? And I want to use something a bit more. So let's say you have 3 team comps, okay? You have these 3, alright. You pull for Ho-Ho, you pull for Aventurine, and then you use Gallagher, like what I said earlier. Don't pull for Lingsha just to fit your Firefly team. Even though Lingsha can run with Fei Xiao and Firefly, I will not pull for Lingsha if you already have these 2. Okay, here's another counterpoint, okay? Let's say you hate men, okay? You hate men, okay? Then let's pull these 2. Run Ho-Ho with her and Lingsha with Firefly or Fei Xiao. But know that if you do this, you have one problem where if you're running this, you can't run her with this. Right? Then you just do this. Or you build up your Gallagher, then you can run like this and run like this, and then you're sorted. You have 3 sustains for your 3 team comps and you don't have to put a 3rd like Aventurine. Oh, but you hate men, right? Then at this point it's a personal choice with you. You either waste your Jades and pull another sustain. Let's say you hate men, you pull full strength. Okay, for some reason, I don't know why. Then that's your personal choice. You just have to do like this and then know that the consequence is you wasted your pulls on another sustain. So yeah, that's all I have to say regarding if you have too many DPS and you don't have a sustain to fit every single team. Okay, for your sustain Lightcones, short story, just don't get any of them. They are even less valuable than the character itself. So I wouldn't even consider getting any of the sustain Lightcones. However, if you really like the character, then I would say Aventurine and maybe Lingsha's Lightcone are the only ones that are probably worth pulling. But think about it, their value is really not there compared to pulling a character. Any character that is like Harmony or even your DPS is going to be way more valuable than the Lightcone. There are a lot of good alternatives like Abundance, especially Quid Pro Quo, Posop, even Dreams Montage if you happen to pick up any. And Preservation, we have Japats, Day 1, trend, if you run with Acheron, there's a lot of good alternatives. So I really wouldn't pull for sustain Lightcones. Just save your Jades, run your sustains as E0 S0, it's fine. Okay, so in conclusion, open to discussion in the comments. I hope I answered the confusion about sustains. Before you pull your third sustain, ask yourself, is this what you want to spend your hard-earned F2P Jades on? Will it make you happy? If so, then go for it. But for those who care about value, think hard about it, because the value a third sustain can even give you is very little. Better to invest in your supports or your DPS Eidolons, or even their Lightcones, or as we talked about it earlier, maybe getting a new DPS to replace your older DPS that is probably outdated, like maybe a 1.x DPS. Stellar Jades are finite unless you swipe for them, but even so, your money in real life is also finite, at least for most people. With that being said, thank you if you watch till the end, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye bye!